Try to come on the other side or stay on this side.
Girl, your number one girl for deck driving, Christy. All right, so right now what I'm about to do, I'm about to go ahead and start my procedure.
Let me show y'all what she about to.
Before I do that,
Oh, can you tell us what's the goal? You taking this down?
The goal that we're going to achieve today. This is one of many configurations of a deck set. This is what you would call a two-way. I'm gonna only undeck 2 trucks. For me, this is great because I only have 1 axle that I have to put in.
And this is the axle?
And that's the axle. I have 2, actually
okay.
two on each side.
Okay.
But normally if I had multiple trucks, I'd have multiple axles. So this is a great thing for me today. When you only have 1 truck, it's a whole lot much easier, simple. You undo the airlines, what I'm about to do now, and you get going.
So walk us through the steps. So walk us through the steps. What you doing now?
Right now, I'm actually cutting the wire that holds the airlines in place. And I'm getting ready to reconnect the airline. I'm disconnecting the air hose. And the air hose is basically this hose that runs from the air chamber. Which is here, right here, you can see it. It runs from the air tank. Basically, this is what holds the trucks together as far as the air. So it runs from the back truck all the way to the front truck. And it allows the air to flow through all the trucks. And the air basically starts from the front truck and it runs all the way to the back trucks through this air hose.
Okay.
This is one reason why I love my knee pads, for one. And for 2, this is why I love doing Peterbilts. Because the Peterbilts have 1 or 2, maybe 3 hoses that you have to connect the airlines. And if you get right here, you can see the airline, what I'm about to connect. I just disconnected this airline, and I'm about to reconnect this airline to this. So now what this does is allow the air to flow through this truck once I put it down. The airline has to be reconnected so there's no leakage in the airlines. And if there is a leakage in the airlines, then the truck will not move, it will not go, and you have to fix these problems before you can start the truck up and it'll move. So that's the whole reason for the airlines. Again, like I said, this is 1 truck, 1 configuration, and this is perfect. So I don't have any more airlines to take off, so I'll go up here and pull this up. I'll pull my air hose off. And so if I have more than 1 truck, then this would be the first thing I would do anyways. I would have the whole hose. I would have multiple hoses. So like I said, this is only 1 truck, so you only have to have 1 hose that connects to 1 truck. But if I had multiple, I would have at least 3 or 4 of these. So, everything's done as far as the airlines. Hoses. We got 1 more airline. Let me look at you. See, this is a different type of truck. And with all the different types of trucks, you have to make sure you connect all the different airlines back together. This wasn't a drive truck. So as you can see right here, all the airlines are connected. And this is what you have to look for, because sometimes they all black and they'll be loose from the brake chamber right there. It'll be loose, and you may have to connect something down there, and you won't be able to see it. So looks like everything is already connected on this truck. I don't have any more air hose. So I'm gonna go ahead and start putting my axle on. All right. So I got my famous Milwaukee. This is what you call an impact gun. This is your friend, your best friend, being a deck driver. Outside of a pair of snips. My original snips got dull on me, so this is what I'm using, but it's getting the job done because they're fairly sharp as well. But this here impact gun and a set of snips is your number one tool that you're gonna need to be a deck driver and to be successful. Because without these, you're gonna have a bad day. Okay. So I got different sockets for the impact gun. There's 3 main sockets that we use. This one, what socket is this? I want to say a 9/16. I want to say this is a 9/16. This is to help you take the bolts off of the axles. Take the nuts off the axle. So this is what we're gonna do here. And again, like I said, this is what really, my knee pads come in great handy. They come in handy, y'all. I did this for a while without knee pads. I don't even understand how I did it. So when you get your gun, you want to always do loosey, lefty, righty, tighty. I have to do that all the time, even though I know that's like elementary to you. But
No,
you know,
okay.
loosey, lefty, righty, tighty. You know, so if it's going to the right, then you tighten it. If it's going to the left, then you loosen it. So right now, I want to loosen these nuts. I'll let you get 2 at a time, but I won't be greedy. If you don't give me one today, I'll take it. All right. So you basically take these nuts off. These are your nuts that you will need to go back on there. As you can see, you got your washers. You got a couple of washers. They normally put them on each one, but we got them all on one thing here. So we just get all the washers off, because we will be reapplying these washers back to the
Why is
axle.
oil coming out?
Because that's what you do. You have oil. That's what we do. We drain the oil out of the axle. You got an axle seal that goes here. Normally we have the they've gotten to the point where now most of them on Freightliners, they have the axle seal here. It's a little rubber gasket that goes in here on the outlines of this right here. But right now, with the Peterbilts, we have a gasket which goes on that rubber cover. So give me 1 minute.
Okay. Let's go see what she's doing. Ow. Oh, never. I'll just stay right here. I was tripped on that.
Most of the time when we have these gaskets, I was in the front lead truck. This is what you do. You just basically put this on. It's a gasket for the oil. It makes sure that the oil doesn't leak. Once I put the axle in, this axle gasket makes sure the oil does not have any leakage. And most importantly, when you're undecking these trucks, you have to have a pan or something that catches oil, because it is illegal to allow oil to flow on concrete, the ground, grass, any of that. So you have to have an oil catcher that catches oil, and they do not like for it to get everywhere on the face.
Yeah.
All right.
How come they didn't have one of them? One of these on when you took it off?
It does. It's
Oh,
on
it
here.
did. Oh, okay.
A lot of times when you take it off, very rarely. When you have the Freightliners, most of the time you got the rubber gaskets. They'll most of the time stick to this actual cover. And all you do is pop it off and put it back into the groove. But these right here, this is like a gasket, different type of gasket. So what happened is they have those in the truck. But most of the time when you get ready to put these axles in, they already have a gasket on it back here. What you don't want to use that one, I want to make sure you use a new gasket to make sure that you put a new one in there. Okay, this is what putting in an axle is. Sometimes the axles are very, very difficult. There could be a number of reasons why the axle won't go in. One of them can be that the lip inside of there has fallen down. You have to take a broom or anything like that to lift it back up so the axle can go in properly. Number two, there's an air line right here on this differential bulb here that may have a plug in it that needs to be take a screw out and reconnect it. I don't see that's the case. Let me go over here and make sure. Okay, no. So if that was the case, then you would have like a little fitting somewhere right along in here that would have like a little mini screw, be flat. It'd be a mini screw that you'd have to take a little ratchet to kind of ratchet it out, and then you would reconnect the hose, and then it'll allow the axle to go in. So it ain't that. Pretty much it's just put more pressure on it. But for the most part, there's a couple of reasons why the axle might not go in. But however, you have to still wiggle it in like that right there. Now, people ask me how I work with nails on. I'm gonna show you how I work with nails on. Okay? The reason why I can work well with nails and put in axles and handle these axles the way that I do is because you do not use your fingers, okay? When you're putting an axle, if you notice the way that I'm holding this axle with my hands, it is very vital that you do not put your hands in this axle to push that in, because you're gonna smash your fingers. So what you do, you just operate it with your hands. See, this axle's already lined up. It's gonna go right in. These things here, when I first started my career, is one of the biggest challenges. And I tell you what, I've learned to master it. And most of the things that I do, that I know that it's part of my livelihood, it has a lot to do with my livelihood and my living, I try to master. This has a lot to do with my money, so I master. But anyways, however, you go ahead and you put the washers back on. You want to put these back on so you don't have any leaks as well, also. So you're going to put those back on. The oil should be done draining out of that axle. Sometimes you get a little leakage right here, but it's okay. You take your nuts, put your nuts back on, and that concludes the axle installment session. Now you learn how to put in the axle. Pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. Repetition can be a headache sometimes. Sometimes, only if you let it though. But just being real, sometimes these axles can be a pain in the tail. But I found it to be one of the easiest things to do at this point. So when I do, the first thing I do when I get my load here, I strip it down from the hoses as you've seen. I cut the light wire off. I put that in the trash, and then the next thing I do is start installing my axles. So now we're gonna go righty-tighty. Righty-tighty. There you go. One axle down, one to go. So, Shane, what do you think about it?
It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool?
Yeah. I don't want to do this. But I do admire your work.
The next thing, the other thing about these axles also is that you have to make sure that you put the long axle always go on the passenger side, on your right hand side. If you notice in the bulb here, you can see right here, that side is shorter than this side.
Which side?
You see this right here over there? It's shorter. So this is the long axle. So when you're installing axles, it's imperative that you put the short one where the short one goes and the long one where the long one goes. So if you ever get confused or if you put an axle in the wrong place, it's been done before. You just take the axles out and you put the long one where it goes, and that's a reference point to where you can really understand which is which. Because when we take them off the frames, they're already pointing, axle head this way, that way. That's the way you pull them off. But if you get to a place to where you didn't know that and you just start pulling them off and let them get together, whatever, then that's the way you can reference to which axle goes where. This is the long side, this is the short side axle. Pretty much.
That's a good that's a good way to remember.
A lot of things I learned by just points, reference points. Even when I drove the city bus in Greensboro, when I had to learn all the addresses, I remember landmarks.
When you had to learn the address for what?
When you had to learn the route. At Greensboro Transit or GTA. You have to learn all the routes.
Oh, when you was driving.
Yeah.
Great.
So it's pretty much a repeat of what we did over there. Take these bolts off, take the washers off, let the oil drain out, and the axle cover. The gasket, put it on. This job is pretty, it's what do you call it?
Repetitive.
Repetitive, right? Very repetitive. That's why it looks intimidating. I think the most part about the job that looks, or maybe even feel intimidating to some people, is the driving of the trucks, is the being able to adjust to the different, the three-way, four-way, and the swifting and the swaying of the trucks. But when it comes down to the actual physical work, it's really not that hard. Like I say, it's repetitive, and you're doing the same thing over and over. And so it becomes the norm. You think that I don't know. I think it might keep me in shape. I don't know. It might. These axles are not that light, and they're pretty heavy. So I would say it gives me a hell of a workout. But once you start doing it for a while, it's the norm. It becomes mind over matter. If you don't mind, it don't matter. That's what I say. If you don't mind, it don't matter.
How you discard of all this stuff?
I take my yellow bags. Keep a lot of these bags right here. These bags come in handy for a lot of things. So you just Back all you putting it up in these bags. Your chains, once he get here, once the record get here, the chains and stuff like that, you discard everything in the bag. This goes in the trash. But what we have to do, we have to put all of our bolts and stuff that comes off the axle. We have to discard them here in this yellow bag. This yellow bag has a tag on it. It normally scans to your number, your name. We got a name and a number everywhere we go. So they supposed to be, they know that when you have your materials in here, this bag belongs to you. It's simple.
Where do you put the oil?
This discard of the oil over there. They have a big old oil catcher pan over there. You just pour the oil in. And that's it. And after this right here, y'all, this concludes the axle installment, the preparation of taking the hoses, reapplying the whole airlines and hoses. That will conclude all of that.
So you don't have to like take this off.
What? The strap? Oh yeah, we're waiting on a record.
A record?
Yeah, you gonna see. This is the prep.
Shit.
This the prep of it. He'll be here in a minute. See, normally if they had a hoist, this place don't have a hoist.
What's that?
What I mean is like a 5-ton, 10-ton hoist that you basically pull up under, and you can basically operate it electric or manual. And you pull the trucks under there, hook them up, and you just lift up the truck with an electric operating thingy, hold the truck up, pull from out of there, put the truck down, and do everything, do it again. Everything is repetition.
But so another site would have had like a hoist that could do that, but we're waiting for like a truck or something.
You have 3 ways to undeck these trucks. The first way that you can undeck these trucks is by electric hoist. You have a 5-ton, 10-ton hoist. You can undeck those trucks that way. That's one configuration, undecking trucks. If you have an electric hoist, you basically can just pull under there, operate the crane with the electric remote, and you can lift the truck up and down, move the crane side to side. So that's how you would do that. Now, the second way you can do it is the same way with the crane, but you have a manual crane. You basically have to pull on the chain and pull the truck up yourself.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've been doing this for 7 years, and I tell you what, I don't pull on chains. Okay, I'm not a chain puller. Okay?
Yeah.
So, however, a lot of guys, they do it. I mean, I just haven't had to do it at this point.
Yeah.
Now, the best way and the way that I love to do it is with a record drive. Okay. Cause see, we get along very well. Sometimes I turn them guys into more than a record drive. I turn them into a deck drive. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, they already know how to pull axles and drive shafts and stuff like that. Anyway, so pretty much us working together.
So a record driver is actually a person, not like a truck name.
It's a person driving a truck that's coming to unload me.
Okay. You have something in your eye?
So yeah, and I honestly like it that way, because you got people out here. You got 2 people. You both got your eyes on the load. You're undecking. You can be safe. Because it's 2. Now when you out there by yourself, it's kind of difficult because it's just you out there. And as you can see, you got people way up there, and if they happen, ain't nobody out here with you.
Yeah.
But thank God that nothing's never happened. I'm pretty confident about operating an electric hoist. But a manual hoist, again, like I say, I don't fool with it.
Yeah. You just haven't had to.
I haven't had to do that.
Yeah.
I have not had to do that at this point. A lot of people don't do it. Because for one, the hoist has to be inspected ever so often, and a lot of these places do not inspect the hoist. So it's DOT, OSHA rules and regulations that we do not have to attempt to undeck any trucks with a hoist that has not been inspected regularly. Okay, well, that's it. We just waiting on the record driver, and we gonna get to the second part of this job.
Okay. I'm gonna stop it here.